So I began my session today with the typical 90 minutes sitting down working on the short story, making revisions and edits. Um, it went fine, and so afterwards I decided to do a little bit of work querying agents for my wrestling novel there. Um, that's what you're seeing right now on the screen. Figure that'd be more interesting than just watching me type. Just kind of a change of what I'm doing in the process, I guess. it's it's very frustrating, even getting to the point now where I am querying. Um, there's there's something about the process that is it just I don't know. It's infuriating. It makes me angry to a way I don't know, and it's hard for me to explain. Um, I haven't even been like obviously rejected by anybody, and yet I still get this anger when I do it of like, oh, I cannot believe I'm doing this. I cannot believe I get a chance, a rejection of my story. I can't believe that they've already hate my story, right? Like I'm already in my head thinking that they're going to reject my work. Um, it's it's interesting. It's a very difficult thing, I think. This process. It's you never feel like a smaller fish in a bigger pond than you do when you query. You never get to the point where you're like, wow, my work is just never gonna reach this point. It's this process of just reaching out to like these sort of like higher ups and just hoping someone will eventually like kind of choose you, right? It's very demoralizing. The whole process is very demoralizing. It's obviously required. It's needed. If you want to go traditional, obviously it's the only way to do it. But man, it is the worst feeling to me to do this, to send off query letters. It's the absolute worst feeling. Um, because there's always that voice inside you that's like, well, who are they, right? Like who are they to critique, to offer judgment on your work or whatever. And naturally there's a logical part of your mind that goes, well, this is still a business decision, and they need to, these people need to review work and kind of pick things that are the most viable commercial options that they have. But there's always that emotion. There's always that emotion tied to it. There's always that feeling of like anger when you send these things off, and it's like, yeah, here's my story, and you type up the most formal letter you can, but when you click and send, you're like, yeah, you better read that, you better look that over, because it's just the process is just a pain, and I think the more years that you go through it, the more bitter it makes you. I'm coming in on January of 2014, I think, is when I basically started becoming, I basically decided that I was going to do this professionally. So 9 years now. So 9 years this month that I've been writing. Obviously with some change in frequency, but for the most part, especially very early in those early years, consistently, and churning out works. Usually about a book a year, basically, for, yeah, 9 years now. And so it's frustrating to get to this, to look back and be like, all right, well, you're a 9. You're at year 9 on this journey, and you haven't seen any results yet. You haven't got anything yet from it. And, you're sending off these letters, you're sending off these sort of like, these angry, in your mind at least, these sort of angry messages, that are disguised as query letters. But there's that undertone when you submit it, that feeling of like, listen, don't play around here. Like, take a look at this and consider it, but don't play around, because I need a win here, right? You need a win, and man, nothing infuriates me more than this. Very glad I've only done this. I've only had to do a query letter basically, or query like once a month now, where I do a batch one like once a month. If I did this daily, I would be in such a bad mood. Um, yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna kind of wrap things up right now. I've been meandering. I'm going through like, you know, bunch of weird meanderings here. Just, I guess, ranting a little bit. I just wrapped up sending off the letters, so it's like I'm still like kind of angry even now. I suppose it's irrational to be angry and frustrated doing this process, but yeah, I want to retreat. I want to retreat to the safety of just working on my projects, of just writing my projects, getting these stories done. You know, the part of the process that I enjoy is the creation, is actually the writing, it's the creating. The letters, right? The query letter, the synopsis. It's these things, these other parts of it are the most miserable aspects of the job, and I want it over with so bad. You know, even now I'm thinking of like, okay, tomorrow I don't have to deal with queries. I can just write, and that'll be it. I can just write, and that's awesome. That feels awesome for me. Yeah. Just off the top of my head right now, a random idea came to me. Like, wouldn't it be cool if you could outsource this? Like, if you could just hire, like, some sort of temp or something like that, and just have them like, hey, here's my query letter template. Here's my here are my pages here. Go find a bunch of agents that look like good fits for this, and just query them. Like, send the query letter off. Tailor it, you know, tailor this section to what they're looking for, and attach the pages to the bottom of the email, and just email them, and just have them have these temps send off like 100 letters or something like that. You know, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. I kind of like it, actually. I sort of like it, actually. Yeah, that's really not a bad idea, is it? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that'll be a plan. Maybe I'll do that in the future, just to improve my odds, I guess. But anyways, wrapping up here. I will see you all tomorrow.